Don't hold your breath for a new Sony handheld. What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to the midweek update. And this week we're talking about the fact that it has been all but confirmed that Sony will no longer be really delving into the handheld side of the industry as they have done over the course of the past decade with both the PlayStation Portable and the PlayStation Vita. And I mean technically the PlayStation Vita TV, but we don't talk about that little red-headed stepchild. No offense to any red-headed stepchildren. So during last week's Tokyo Game Show, Andrew House, the gaming chief over there at Sony, was interviewed and asked about the potential for a beefier version of the PlayStation Vita, or perhaps a successor to the PlayStation Vita, to compete with the Nintendo Switch. In response, he said, and I quote, "The Nintendo device is a hybrid device, and that's a different approach and strategy. We have not seen that as being a huge market opportunity." He goes on to say the Vita experience was that outside of Japan and Asia, there was not a huge demand. The lifestyle shift towards the dominance of smartphones as the single key device that is always with you was a determining factor, and of course he is talking about it being a determining factor in not developing a successor to the PlayStation Vita. In response to smartphones becoming the dominant device that people take with them out of their homes, Sony actually unveiled last year a new branch called Forward Works that is a mobile development part of Sony that is making mobile experiences for iOS and Android. And so with that going on, it's going to be interesting to see where that goes, because according to gaming chief Andrew House, that little branch is doing quote-unquote fantastic. Now the question is, where is that attention that the Vita was given going to be distributed? What is Sony going to be focusing on as far as their PlayStation brand goes? And it does seem like they're going to be focusing primarily on PlayStation 4 as well as PlayStation VR and creating original content for those two platforms and ecosystems specifically. So now the question is, how do I feel about all of this news that's coming out? Personally, I think that the PlayStation VR is the new PlayStation Vita, and what I mean by this is that the PlayStation Vita was never widely accepted. It sold fairly well, and there is a hardcore audience that still supports it to this day, a member of which I am. However, the Vita is not a worldwide hit, and it never was, and in the same way, I think the PlayStation VR is going to be a fantastic piece of hardware just like the PlayStation Vita was. It is going to be the most accessible way to get into the world of virtual reality, but in the same sense, it just isn't going to be that big worldwide sensation that PlayStation hoped it would be when it launched. That is not to say that a group of people will not rally around the PlayStation VR and really make some development happen for that peripheral in the same way that people rallied around the PlayStation Vita and got more games coming for that thing. Games that are still coming to this day. There was one that came out this week that was a pretty big name. As of right now, we will just have to wait and see what happens with the entire PlayStation ecosystem. If I had to guess, the PlayStation VR will, like I said, receive just about as much focus as the PlayStation Vita was receiving towards the middle of its life cycle, and then the PlayStation 4 Pro will slowly phase out the PlayStation 4 Slim, soon to be followed by some kind of PlayStation 5. That's just my guess as to what the next roughly 5 years of PlayStation looks like. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, drop me a like down below. I am going to go work on some college work, and I will talk to you guys on Friday. Hey, you thought this video was done. It was not. If you want to watch me live stream, you can head over to twitch.tv/thesamueladams, and there you will find me live streaming pretty much every night throughout the week. If you want to stay up to date on when I go live, create a twitch.tv account, go ahead and log into that, and then click that follow button on my profile, and you will be notified when I go live if you do choose to do that. I would love to see you in the stream.